This is Hannibal back here from thehannibaltv.com. Just finished replaying an interview with Slick, the very first black WWE manager. The Rock is currently making a biopic about Ric Flair's life. It'll be interesting to see if now that AEW has released him, if he'll start showing back up in WWE where his daughter and son-in-law work, because obviously The Rock's on the board of directors of WWE, and having Flair involved in the mix if they're making a movie about him is going to only bring more attention to the movie. AEW did practically nothing with Ric Flair. As I mentioned earlier, the original deal, Tony Khan had said it was a multi-year contract, and Flair had said it was a 2-year contract. Hasn't even been a year. Did they even use him 5 times? I don't know. Apparently, they had nothing creatively for him. AEW, name me one megastar that they've created. WCW had Goldberg. AEW now has been around for years, and we've only seen a ratings decline. The attendance, although they do have some outliers here and there of good crowds overall, they get like 1,500 to 2,500 usually in 20,000 seat arenas. This is why they're moving to that 1,000-ish seat arena in Arlington, Texas for the residency. It's just funny to me because you have literally one of the greatest wrestlers of all time, if not the greatest, and you don't have anything for him creatively. It's just ridiculous. But and keep in mind, guys, I understand they have Dynamite, but the Rampage and Collision ratings are, first of all, Dynamite doesn't even beat NXT most weeks now. NXT usually beats Dynamite quite often now. Why would you put Flair at least on Rampage or Collision that nobody watches? Like, at least give those shows a boost. Anyways, I bet you anything if and when he does start appearing in WWE, which I'm sure he will, he'll be used much better. This run of Ric Flair's at AEW, as a Ric Flair fan, it was disrespectful to Ric Flair fans how they used him. It was pathetic. Survivor Series is going to be at a 15,000 seat arena, the new one in Inglewood, California. WWE's latest signee, Stephanie Valker, who literally was just on AEW's Forbidden Door pay-per-view, and Mercedes Moné went to CMLL to do an interview, or to do a confrontation with her. Again, this was on a Friday night. They didn't use Mercedes Moné on Rampage. God forbid you try and get Rampage a rating. You send her to CMLL. She appears on the CMLL show, does this confrontation that, let's be honest, did anybody before any of this in Canada or the US or most other places even know who Stephanie Valker was? All that angle did was end up getting her noticed by WWE, and now she's actually apparently wrestling for WWE this weekend in Mexico. By the way, it appears that other than foreign tours like in Mexico and Europe and places, WWE's pretty much stopping doing house shows in Canada and the US. There's none planned for the fall. There's only 2 this summer. The old days of the hard schedules are long gone. AJ Styles, a guy that I once beat 2 times in one night, back when he was IWGP New Japan champion, defeated Marufuji at Pro Wrestling Noah's Destination event earlier today. I did do a couple training seminars with Marufuji over the years. Seems like a nice guy. And apparently it was announced that NXT's Josh Briggs and Travis or Tavian Heights are going to be the next WWE wrestlers to appear For Noah, I guess since NXT is hardly doing any events outside of the TV tapings these days, they're going to be sending NXT wrestlers to companies like Noah and TNA. And by the way, apparently, I heard Dave Meltzer talk about this, and this is true. Like WWE, we're talking about AEW's poor promotions. You know how they had Sting's final retirement tour and like never even mentioned that it was going to be his final matches in these towns when he appeared in his last matches in most of the towns other than Greensboro. WWE is going to do this with Cena. Like the last match in Toronto, it's the last time to see Cena here. Last time seeing Cena there. That's going to give their attendance a good boost. AEW's Eddie Kingston, who has a bunch of matches on this channel, if you search Eddie Kingston to Hannibal TV, had his knee surgery. It was delayed because his broken leg had to heal before he got the knee surgery. This was an injury he had while wrestling for New Japan. Again, AEW prioritizing other companies. This Tony Khan's money. He can do whatever he wants. But their advances have been soft lately. They hardly use Lana. No surprise, she's been released. She said after her release that WWE is her heart and soul. Miro, who, how many times have they used him since he's been signed for years now? Apparently, he's still under contract, but according to Dave Meltzer, he's back in Bulgaria. So, for whatever reason, they're not releasing him. Bryan Danielson, he is going to retire from a full-time schedule at the end of this year, but he says he's going to wrestle here and there until he dies. The top angle going to SummerSlam is kind of weak. Cody against this Solo Sikoa guy. Not really many people believe that Solo has a chance in winning.